probably, I guess, going over a little over 4 years, and just some things that I think are pertinent that people should know about how the banks are, in fact, handling the situation, specifically Wells Fargo Bank. First of all, Wells Fargo, I don't believe ever really intended to do any modifications. There are only 4% that are approved. Now, you might ask the question, why, in fact, did they buy Wachovia Bank in the first place with all the bad paper? Well, the reality of the issue is that the only viable business that Wachovia was involved, successful at, and Wells Fargo was a part of, that's public information, you can look it up, was laundering South American drug money to the tune of $353 billion.
Yeah.
They fined about $200 million for the infraction, which is, numbers on a piece of paper to a bank. It really isn't amount to anything. And they simply wrote all the mortgages off their taxes because they haven't paid any federal taxes in the past 3.5 years, and they just got a tax credit of $18 billion.
Tell it.
The other thing is that, for people that don't know it, every time someone applies for a modification, it used to be that they got $1,000 per application regardless of how many times you apply. Most people apply 10.4 times, I think, is the average, with the 4% approval, of course. Now, they get $3,000 per application. So, with nobody really monitoring what's going on, what's happening is that they're making record profits over, one, the fees that they're charging to just apply for the modification. Two, they wrote the mortgages off in the first place, so in another 5 years, all that property will be back on the market and for sale for God knows how much money. This is the Bay Area. So, now they get $3,000 per application. We were actually approved in 2010 for modifications, but because they were delivered without a signature required, they were still dated at our next door neighbor. So the question remains, well, why not just do what you did before? I mean, nothing's changed in a negative way. Haven't gotten any real answers. But the fact of the matter is there's no reason why the banks, with the massive sums of money that they've received, one from this process, two from the application process, but there shouldn't be a more effective way to help Americans continue to make their homes. I think that unfortunately the only way to really get any attention from anyone is to actually, call people out and say this is what's so. I don't have a problem with it. It's not the most comfortable thing, but if it's effective at all, I think that's a job well done. So thank you to my counter workers at ACE, as well as freedom fighters and Occupy. We're on the right path. Have a good day. Thank you.
Yeah!